Today, we're diving into a story of incredible natural beauty, but also profound vulnerability. We're going to look at Papua New Guinea's ambitious plan to tackle a climate crisis that really threatens its very existence. It's a plan that was born right on the front lines of climate change.
So, to really get what's at stake here, you have to picture this place. Papua New Guinea is an absolute ecological treasure. I mean, imagine a landscape with just staggering biodiversity, home to the entire planet's third-largest rainforest, a vibrant, green heart just pulsing with life.
But this paradise, it's also a battlefield. The same powerful forces of nature that created all this diversity are now, well, they're being turned against it. And this isn't some distant threat we're talking about. It's happening right now. We're talking washed-out roads, flooded communities, and a landscape that is changing before people's eyes.
So let's take a closer look at the sheer scale of what is truly at risk in this incredible paradise. The numbers here are just wow. They're staggering. We're talking about rainforests that cover almost 78% of the entire country. Its waters are home to 10% of all fish species on Earth, and it's a huge part of the Coral Triangle, an ecosystem that supports the lives of over 100 million people across the South Pacific. So this makes it really clear. This isn't just a national issue. This is a global one.
And this is the deep injustice at the very heart of this story. This quote from the Minister for Environment, Conservation, and Climate Change just gets right to it. Here you have a nation that has done almost nothing to cause the problem, and yet it's facing some of the most severe consequences. It's a powerful and, frankly, heartbreaking reality.
Okay, so let's see how this onslaught of calamities is actually playing out on the ground for the people of Papua New Guinea. You know, the threats are coming from all directions. You've got the sudden, really violent events like flash floods and landslides that grab the headlines. But then you also have these slow-moving disasters, sea levels just quietly swallowing up coastlines, droughts that wither crops, and diseases spreading into new areas. And underneath it all, the very ecosystems that life there depends on are just getting hammered.
Now this number, 155, is absolutely crucial for understanding why the impacts are so devastating. Ranking 155th on the Human Development Index, while that means the country already faces huge challenges with things like infrastructure, health, and education. This pre-existing vulnerability means there's just less of a buffer when these climate disasters strike.
So, the bottom line is this. This is not an equal opportunity crisis. It hits the poorest and most vulnerable people the hardest, the very people who have the least capacity to absorb the shocks, to rebuild their homes, or to even think about relocating.
And these are the people we're talking about. About 88% of the population lives in rural areas. Their lives and their livelihoods are directly tied to the land and the water. So when the environment is threatened, their entire way of life is on the line.
But here's the thing. Papua New Guinea isn't just a victim in this story. No, it's fighting back with a really comprehensive strategy. And that brings us to the National Adaptation Plan.
So what exactly is the NAP? Well, put simply, it's a national game plan. It's not about trying to stop climate change itself. Papua New Guinea can't do that alone. It's about reducing the country's vulnerability. It's about strengthening its ability to withstand the impacts that are already happening and the ones that are still to come.
And listen, this plan wasn't created in some vacuum. It's actually the result of a 2-year process of collaboration, bringing together everyone from national government officials all the way down to local community leaders. It was designed to be country-driven and transparent, to make sure the solutions are truly the right ones for the people of Papua New Guinea.
So what does this blueprint for resilience actually look like? It's built around a pretty clear 4-point plan. Let's break down what the priorities are.
So the plan starts by tackling the most critical areas first. For agriculture, that means trying to get ahead of food shortages, maybe by introducing hardier, drought-resistant crops or better ways to manage water for farms. For infrastructure, it's about building stronger community buildings and homes that can actually withstand these intense storms. For transport, it's about reinforcing the roads and bridges that connect communities to hospitals and markets so they don't get cut off after a landslide. And for health, it's about getting clinics ready for new challenges, like the spread of diseases into cooler, higher altitude regions.
And you can see there's a really clear logic to these priorities, right? Each one directly counters a major threat. They're focusing on agriculture because food security is at risk. They're targeting infrastructure and transport because climate events are literally washing away roads and bridges. And they're bolstering the health sector because diseases like malaria are spreading as temperatures rise. It all just makes sense.
All right, so a plan is in place. That's a huge step. But how do you turn a document into a reality on the ground? Well, success really hinges on everyone pulling in the same direction. The plan calls for what they call a whole-of-society approach, and that means the government can't do it alone. It's going to require deep collaboration with international partners, the private sector, and, this is so important, the active involvement of local communities, the people who hold the traditional knowledge of their land.
And this partnership idea is key. On one side, you have the total commitment of Papua New Guinea itself, and on the other, you have the support of international partners like the United Nations Development Program. It's a really powerful reminder that this is a shared challenge, and it's going to require both national leadership and global cooperation.
And, at the end of the day, it all comes back to this. This is the ultimate goal. It's not about abstract policies, it's about protecting people. It's about making sure there's a safer, more secure future for every single citizen of Papua New Guinea who's facing these immense challenges.
So the nation has drawn a map for its journey through this climate crisis. The path is clear, the partnerships are forming, and the will is definitely there. But the question that remains is this: can this blueprint be built into a truly resilient reality quickly enough for the people on the front lines? That is the challenge that lies ahead.